As you're dealing with electrical current, hot metal and intense light, welding can be hazardous if not performed correctly. Please ensure that you familiarize yourself with the proper safety and usage requirements before use. Congratulations on the purchase of your Repco 180-amp digital multi-process welder. We'd like to take a few moments to guide you through the assembly and setup of your new machine. Your Repco welder represents the latest digital welding technology, giving you smooth and precise welding results. The synergic function ensures you can dial in your welding jobs quickly and become a welding professional in no time. Because the RPW1800MP is very portable and compact, it's the perfect workhorse for light industrial and automotive jobs. Your Repco welder gives you 3 welding processes in one power source: MIG, TIG and arc welding. MIG for gas and gasless welding of virtually any material up to 8 mm thick, including exhausts, panel and light plate steel. Flux core for mild steel without gas and in windy environments. DC lift TIG for stainless and thin mild steel, giving you truly professional results. MMA arc for those heavy welds. Included with your machine are the following items: instruction manual, DVD setup guide, quick reference guide, Euro connector MB15 torch, WP17 valve TIG torch, electrode holder lead, earth lead and clamp, argon gas regulator with CO2 adapter, drive rollers. Please check that all these accessories are in the box and that there's been no freight damage to the machine or accessories. MIG welding flux cord self-shielding. Setup procedure. Your machine comes ready assembled out of the box. All we need to do is select a welding process and connect the leads and wire. Flux cord wire is for use without gas shielding and is silver grey in colour. Solid gas shielded copper wire is coloured and needs to be shielded by gas. There are 2 sizes of spool available in self-shielded flux cord wire: the 1 pound 0.45 kg mini spool and the 10 pound 4.5 kg spool. There are 2 sizes available in the gas shield wire: 1 kg mini spool and the 5 kg. We're working with the self-shielded flux cord wire for the purpose of this gasless welding guide. Information on the correct size and wire type can be found on the inside of the side door of your welder. To install the MIG wire into the machine, first open the side door and raise the tensioner arm. Before installing the wire, make sure it's matched to the roller size and type. This can be found in the reference chart. Cut the wire so any kinks or burrs are removed. Insert the wire spool with the wire feeding from the bottom of the spool. Make sure that the wire is not over-tightened. The spool needs to spin freely for the best possible welding performance. Thread the wire through the top of the drive roller. Make sure the wire protrudes from the Euro connector socket approximately 100 mm. Close the tensioner arm, making sure the wire drops into the drive roller groove. The tensioner adjustment knob should be set 2 to 3 turns below the top indicator. Connecting the MIG torch. Install the EuroConnect MIG torch, feeding over the MIG wire. Line all the connection points up and screw the nut up hand tight. Install the TEX plug on the earth lead into the positive terminal on the front of the machine. Install the power selector cable into the negative terminal. The RPW1800MP is designed to run on 15 amp 240 volt AC power supply. If an extension cord must be used, it should be no longer than 10 meters long and be a heavy-duty industrial 15 amp version. Switch on the machine. The digital display will light up and the cooling fan will start. Select MIG on the Process Selection button. Facing the end of the torch, remove the MIG shroud by rotating clockwise and pulling towards you. Remove the threaded MIG tip. With the torch still extended fully, press the wire test inching key. When the wire feeds out of the torch, press the key again to stop the wire feeding. Install the MIG tip and install the nozzle by rotating clockwise. Please note the nozzle turns in the same direction in removing it and replacing it. Do not force the shroud. Cut the wire so any kinks or burrs are removed. Press the function key until voltage is shown on the digital display. The unit has infinitely adjustable voltage or heat control. Refer to the chart on the inside of the side door of your machine to find the recommended voltage matched to your wire thickness. Press the function key again, selecting Inductance. The inductance dial adjusts the rate at which the wire is heated during each cycle. Higher inductance will cause the welding pool to become more fluid, resulting in a smoother and flatter weld bead. Too much inductance will make the wire stumble on ignition. Press the function key again to access the wire feed setting. Set the wire speed to the recommended setting as indicated by the chart. A quick word on safety. The minimum requirement for welding is leather safety gloves and full-face welding helmets. Other options for full protection are leather welding jackets, leather welding aprons, and full-face automatic welding helmets. The automatic welding helmets make things very easy by changing to the correct protection instantly when the weld starts. These optional accessories are available from your nearest Repco store. Secure your workpiece. Connect the earth clamp firmly to the workpiece. It's essential to have good contact for the earth. Rusty or painted steel must be ground or filed to ensure earth contact with the bare metal. Before you start welding, it's a good idea to practice on steel offcuts to familiarize yourself with your new machine and to make sure the settings are correct. Now we can start welding. Hold the MIG torch 5 mm off the workpiece at an angle of about 15 degrees from right angles to the work. Pull the trigger and start moving forward at a consistent speed. If you find your torch being pushed away from the workpiece by the wire speed needs to be reduced. If the weld is intermittent or sounds like this, the wire speed is too slow. You'll need to increase your wire speed. Thermal overload. Your Repco welder is protected by the thermal overload circuit. If PE2 is displayed on the digital panel, your unit has reached its rated duty cycle. Allow the fan to cool the power source, and when the light stops glowing, you're free to weld again. Many things can affect your duty cycle, like running the unit on extension leads and hot or cold environments. For further fault codes and technical information, please consult your manual. You've now started your journey. Make sure you check out your local Repco branch for welding consumables and accessories to help you with your projects. Thanks for your attention and all the best for your welding projects. MIG welding with gas-shielded solid wire. To start welding, you'll need to purchase a spool of solid gas-shielded wire. Setup. We're working with a solid wire for the purpose of this gas-shielded welding guide and have selected the 5 kg spool of wire. To install the MIG wire into the machine, first open the side door. Unclip the wire feed tensioner and raise the tensioner arm. Before installing the wire, make sure it's matched to the roller size and type. This can be found in the reference chart. Cut the wire so any kinks or burrs are removed. Insert the wire spool with the wire feeding from the bottom of the spool. Make sure that the wire is not over-tightened. The spool needs to spin freely for the best possible welding performance. Thread the wire through the top of the drive roller. Make sure the wire protrudes from the Euro connector socket approximately 100 mm. Close the tensioner arm, making sure the wire drops into the drive roller groove. The tensioner adjustment knob should be set 2 to 3 turns below the top indicator. Install the EuroConnect MIG torch feeding over the MIG wire. Line all the connection points up and screw the nut up hand tight. Install the text plug on the earth lead into the negative terminal on the front of your machine. Install the power selector cable into the positive terminal on the front of the machine. Now you can install the gas hose to the machine and tighten the regulator to the refillable gas bottle and hose to the regulator. Open the valve on the gas bottle. With the machine on, press the trigger to activate the welder and start the gas flow. Set the regulator to 10 litres per minute. If you're welding outside in windy conditions, you may need to increase the gas flow. MMA arc welding on mild steel. Let's set up the welder for MMA arc welding. Connect the text plug of the electrode holder lead to the positive terminal on the front of the machine. This is the most common option for the electrode holder in arc welding of general purpose rods. Refer to your manual for other options. Insert the bare end of the electrode into the electrode holder. Insert the text plug of the earth lead to the negative terminal of the power source. When the power switch on the machine is activated, the cooling fan will start and the digital display will light up. Select Stick on the Process Select button. It's important to remember that once the power is on, there is power to the electrode holder. Only turn on your machine when you're ready to weld. The welding current adjustment control is used to select the correct amperage for your chosen electrode. To ensure the correct amperage is selected, please refer to your user manual or electrode packaging. Your welder comes with the added safety of the voltage reduction device, or VRD. The VRD reduces the chance of electric shock before the arc has ignited. The risk of electric shock is always present, and safe operation must be adhered to at all times. Instructions on turning the VRD off are located in your manual. There are two methods which can be used to start or strike the arc: the tapping method and the scratching method. In the tapping method, the electrode is brought straight down and tapped on the workpiece. With the scratching method, the electrode is dragged at an angle along the surface, much like striking a match. Regardless of method, upon contact with the plate, immediately raise the electrode or it will stick to the surface. Raise the electrode to a distance equal to the diameter of the electrode. Always hold the electrode pointed into the weld. Grip the electrode holder tightly. Keeping your elbow close to your side will help keep your hand steady. Factors affecting the speed necessary for completing a good weld are the type and diameter of electrode, amperage, position, and workpiece thickness. When the speed is too fast, the bead is narrow and bead ripples are pointed. When the speed is too slow, the weld metal piles up and the bead is high and wide. After completing the weld, wait for the welded sections to cool. A protective coating called slag now covers the weld bead, which prevents contaminants in the air from reacting with the molten metal. Once the weld cools to the point that it's no longer glowing red, the slag can be removed. Removal is done with a chipping hammer. Lightly tap the slag with the hammer and break it loose from the weld bead. The final cleanup is done with a wire brush. When making multiple weld passes, remove the slag before each pass. Lift DC TIG. Once you've purchased filler rod, your Repco welder is ready to tackle panel steel, stainless steel and copper. For welding of alloy, AC current is required and is not possible with this welder. Connect the TEX plug from the TIG torch to the negative terminal on the power source. Connect the TEX plug from the earth lead to the positive terminal on the power source. Connect the gas line of the TIG torch to the disposable regulator and screw onto the disposable bottle. Do not open the valve on the bottle until you're ready to weld. If you're using a refillable bottle, connect the argon regulator to the bottle and then connect the gas line to the regulator. Set the flow to between 6 and 10 litres per minute. It's a good idea to now close the valve on the bottle until you finish setting up your machine to make sure there are no gas leaks. The needle on the bottle pressure gauge should maintain pressure with the valve off. If the pressure drops, inspect the gas lines and fittings for leaks. Torch head setup. It's important to match the tungsten thickness to the material and amperage required. Select the correct tungsten size by referring to the reference chart. Sharpen your tungsten so the arc is more focused on your workpiece. Always sharpen tungsten in a parallel direction to the grinding wheel. Failing to do so can cause the arc to wander. The sharpened point should be 2.5 times the tungsten thickness. You will need to reshape your tungsten as the point becomes round or contaminated. Your collet and collet body need to match the tungsten size. Screw the collet body into the torch head. Slide the collet over the tungsten and install into the torch head. Screw a suitable ceramic cap onto the collet body. Making sure 3 to 6 mm sticks out past the ceramic cup. Now is a good time to check the regulator pressure gauge for leaks. Select Lift TIG on the Process Selection button. Select the correct amperage for the chosen material and joint. Open the gas valve on the bottle. Open the gas valve located on the TIG torch. With the ceramic cup resting on the workpiece and the tungsten 2 to 3 mm above it, rotate the torch head so that the tungsten touches the workpiece. Rotate the torch head forward again. This will lift the tungsten from the workpiece, creating the arc. Lift the cup from the workpiece. Once the weld pool has developed, tilt the torch to about 75 degrees and move slowly along the joint, adding filler rod to the leading edge of the weld pool. Once you've finished the joint, close the valve on the TIG torch. This will save gas while you reposition for the next weld. After practicing on scrap material, you can move on to welding joints. The two pieces of material should be tacked together to assist in holding the job in the right place. Different joints will require different techniques, so do some research before starting.